I've got a pretty hot take regarding video game consoles. The one with the strongest library, in my opinion, is the Super Nintendo. At least, when only counting original games and not re-releases. There are so many amazing and iconic games playable on this one piece of hardware. Mario World, Yoshi's Island, Super Metroid, Chrono Trigger, A Link to the Past, Super Mario RPG, and my favorite one of them all, Earthbound. It's kind of a bold claim to say that any one game is truly the best from a system, but I wholeheartedly stand behind Earthbound being one of the greatest games ever created, and thus, deserving the title of the greatest Super Nintendo game. Most people probably haven't played Earthbound, seeing as it's only recently been accessible to the masses on modern hardware. So, here's the briefest rundown of Earthbound for you. Got it? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Earthbound is a game about Ness and his friends Paula, Jeff, and Pooh. They must travel around the Earth to the 8 sanctuaries, gathering the melodies to create Magicant and gather its power to defeat
Gigagas.
Along the way, you will be helping out the denizens of the world and meeting a colorful cast of funny characters. The game plays like an RPG, with the core difference being that every bit of damage you take is dealt over time, meaning you can theoretically survive any fatal blow given proper menuing and healing. There, that should have caught everyone up to speed. Oh, and if you want to still play Earthbound, it's on NSO. I highly recommend checking it out. Anyways, I bring up Earthbound because there's this trend I've noticed in modern gaming. It started when my brother was telling me about this website called RetroAchievements, where fans create their own achievements for retro games that didn't have them. He was more focused on the Zelda ones, which were alright, but being the Earthbound enjoyer that I am, I decided to check out the achievements for that game. I'm not going to muddy words here. Everything aside from the story-related achievements were straight up bad. I mean, I couldn't put into words why they were bad just yet. All I understood at the time was, if you play the game following RetroAchievements' path, collecting all of them as you go, okay, how do I put this without sounding like a jerk? It just sucks all the fun out of the little moments in the game. Here, this one for example, where one of the achievements is to talk with the black and white sesame seeds in Dusty Dunes Desert. Normally, this is just a cute little interaction that doesn't give you anything, but it is fun and charming to do. So, when I do replay Earthbound, I usually go out of my way to do it. When it's given an achievement, however, it just kind of ruins the fun. Like, the vibes of the moment are just kind of spoiled. I'm not trying to hate on RetroAchievements or the people who made these achievements for Earthbound, because clearly a lot of work was put into it, and some people do prefer to play this way. But it does have me thinking about how games structure rewards. Almost all games nowadays come standard with a set of achievements. These are goals often separated from the base game's intended experience and reward the player for doing certain tasks. My goal with this video is to explain my thoughts on achievements, where they work, where they don't, and why not every game needs them. Before we get into that though, this video is sponsored by me. I'm not exactly big enough for a sponsorship yet, but I am rapidly growing. My last video got a lot more traction than I'm used to, and I just wanted to say thank you for that. In the future, I want this channel to keep going places. So, if you enjoy the kind of content I'm producing, a like and subscription would go a long way in helping me out. That's all I really wanted to say, so here's the rest of the video. There's a concept in psychology called intrinsic and extrinsic rewards. Extrinsic rewards are likely what you're more familiar with in your day-to-day life. These are rewards given by a third party for successfully performing a task. For example, you were working hard at your job, so your boss offered you a promotion. For my younger viewers, imagine that you put the effort into study for a test and then got an A+ on it. Extrinsic rewards are what keeps society running, but they themselves do not fuel enjoyment. The employee doesn't inherently like to write business reports, and the student doesn't inherently like to practice their material either. Both of them are fueled by something, whether that be a promotion or an A+. The other type of reward is intrinsic rewards. These come from one's own personal enjoyment of something. They find satisfaction in doing it because they want to do it. This reward structure can also be applied to video games in more of a spectrum. On the extrinsic side, you have login bonuses, daily missions, and limited time events. They make you want to play a game to claim in-game rewards. They want you to keep coming back over and over again. On the intrinsic side, you have a whole myriad of personal reasons to keep playing, such as enjoying a story, music, gameplay, or whatever else. Now, the question is, where do achievements even belong on this spectrum? On the one hand, you are being challenged to do something most players wouldn't bother with. Achievements are almost entirely optional. On the other hand, you are quite literally given a shiny sticker, trophy, or whatever for your efforts. Perhaps the observation is too simple. It's likely that all achievements aren't actually equivalent in nature. Some are just inherently better designed than others. Dissecting good achievements might further explain my strong aversions to Earthbound's fan-made ones. Pizza Tower is a game that mostly does achievements right. You can tell that that's the case simply by looking at the achievement completion rate. P-ranking every level in World 5, the hardest achievement in the game, is still sitting at 9.5% completion. While some of these fall into the same category as the Sesame Seeds achievement, a lot of them are just direct tests of skill. For example, they might task you with completing a level without touching a hazard, or completing a level in a certain amount of time, or keeping a combo up for a long time. Pizza Tower's achievements go one step further though. They just don't test your skill, they actively push you to get better. The level that does achievements best, in my opinion, is Crust Cove. You are given 3 chef tasks with this level, as well as needing to achieve a P rank here at least once for 100%. While all of these achievements seem like random assignments at first, they're all designed in such a way to help you get a P rank easier. If you've been 100%ing Pizza Tower as you go and not breezing through all the levels, you would know that you can parry enemies and projectiles. Nothing has actively tested your ability to parry projectiles. Only melee attacks have been properly demonstrated. This is where Blowback comes in, where it asks you to reflect a bomb from a bomb goblin. What's really clever is that this mechanic is crucial for unlocking the third secret. Not only does it push you to get better, it teaches you how to improve and find a new collectible without directly telling you how. In a similar vein, the achievement simply labeled X tasks you with finding every single treasure chest enemy in the level. These are enemies that, when defeated, give a constant stream of points. In a P rank run, they're a valuable tool to keep your score up and combo going. These chests are also hidden in some pretty obscure spots, so getting this achievement means you need to be observant and willing to explore the level more thoroughly. By exploring the level, you're also likely going to find more toppings and enemies. So it creates a wonderful feedback loop where you're getting better at P ranking just by hunting around the level. Finally, there's the achievement Demolition Expert, which tasks you with not getting hit by an explosion during the level. While there are some other hazards in the level, the main type you'll be running into are explosives. Beating the level without getting blown up is an objective test of skill that makes you more prepared for future level attempts, cause getting blown up is gonna risk your combo ending. Crust Cove isn't the only level designed this way, mind you. Every level has at least one achievement teaching the player how to perfectly play through it in some way. I just think Crust Cove does it the best. If we go back to the list of achievements on RetroAchievements and compare them to Pizza Tower's achievements, the cracks start to appear immediately. Let's ignore every one you have to get to beat the game. What does that leave you with? Well, to be frank, busy work. Some of these test your skills, but at most they amount to don't let a party member get knocked out, turn on auto battle, or only use the L button and D-pad for maneuvering in this section. I mean, 2 of these things I already do when I play through the game normally. They barely qualify as tests of skill. I mean, auto battle straight up removes your ability to make decisions for yourself. So forcing it on some fights is just luck. Hey, speaking of luck, they have a bunch of Get Lucky achievements in here too, such as finding the Sword of Kings, which is a 1 in 128 drop from an enemy, or finding a Star Pendant, which is a 1 in 128 drop from a rare enemy, or a Gutsy Bat, which is a 1 in 128 drop from an even rarer enemy. I'm surprised they don't task you with getting a Horn of Life from Fishman's brother. These aren't fun, they're just menial tasks on a checklist. While I definitely wouldn't blame you for thinking the RNG ones are the worst, in my opinion, the worst types of achievements on here are the Sesame Seed tier ones. Cute interactions that are suddenly rewarded with an achievement. Find the secret clubhouse, bother the man in Tucson, purchase the seaside property. Nothing will ever recapture my reaction to buying the house and on it and seeing the state it's in.
I don't know what I was expecting, but I was not expecting this.
The achievement kinda steals that moment's thunder though. You're no longer paying $7,000 in-game and getting scammed. You're paying $7,000 in-game just to buy an achievement. Some of the most memorable bits in Earthbound are because I decided, hey, I wonder what would happen if I did this, and not because I was directed to a checklist. My reward was the moment, and the game validating my curiosity to explore the world. Playing this way, they're ruined for me because they go from intrinsic moments to extrinsic ones. It would be like if Undertale rewarded you for stacking 30 hot dogs on your head with some stupid achievement name like walking the dogs. Oh, wouldn't that be funny? Ha ha ha, walking the dogs. Get it, guys? It's like walking dogs in real life. Don't you get it? Isn't it so funny? I mentioned Undertale, so why don't we talk about it more? Unlike Earthbound, most of you have probably played Undertale, so I don't need to give a plot summary. You'd be surprised how much stuff Undertale takes from the Mother franchise. That's the series with Earthbound, by the way. The dialogue is on the same level of wittiness, moments are just as emotionally impactful, the soundtrack rocks. It's clear Toby Fox was heavily inspired by Earthbound when creating Undertale. There's plenty of videos out there singing the praises of Undertale and telling you how perfect the game is. I don't intend to repeat them back to you though. There are certain points I want to focus on. Something seldom covered is how the game encourages the player to keep going. Arguably, the biggest thing Toby lifted straight from Earthbound is the sound font. But the second biggest thing he lifted is the ability to make players intrinsically invested. There are almost zero extrinsic rewards found in Undertale. Heck, I can probably count the amount of times going out of your way to do a side event gives you an item you can actually use. I'm not counting overworld exploration on the main path though, because that's just something you do naturally. Anyways, there's just 6, and most of these barely classify as side activities. They're like 1, maybe 2 room puzzles. Almost every single side event ends up giving you a memorable interaction instead of an item. Take DawnTheSylv's house, for example. In any standard RPG, if you went to visit them, you likely would have gotten a healing item, accessory, armor, whatever. That would be your reward for going out of your way to see them. Not Undertale though, you go there and your reward is seeing more about DawnTheSylv as a character. You can see their favorite show, their favorite activity, and even listen to their music. If you decide to listen to their jams and walk out, you'll be treated to further dialogue from the random mooks of the area. These moments all help to build DawnTheSylv's character beyond being the first mini-boss, and yet there's no extrinsic reward for doing any of it. RPGs, for as long as they've existed, have trained you to walk into random people's houses expecting them to give you a reward. Because why else would you walk into random people's houses and talk to them if not for an item? Undertale gives you a reward too, but not really a tangible one. It wants your time spent with the people in the underground to be the reward. In fact, Toby is seemingly going out of his way here to separate tangible rewards and personal rewards. Earthbound does this to an extent, but Undertale fully pushes the envelope with it. The whole ethos of Undertale revolves around enjoying the game intrinsically. You get what you put into it. The only task you are ever assigned to do is to reach Asgore. You may go throughout the game in whatever manner you please to achieve that goal. If you like everyone, you can just make friends with them. If you don't like everyone, you can go kill all of them. If you're a monster and only hate Papyrus, you can target him specifically. The game acknowledges whatever action you take too, so you really are getting out what you put into it. Even if you wanted to 100% Undertale, doing so would be maddening. There are 3 separate endings in Undertale. Hang on, there was a smudge covering the first digit here, my mistake. There are actually 93 separate endings in Undertale. Every single route technically has unique dialogue, so you better get collecting. You wouldn't do that though, unless you're Shay, because you know Undertale isn't supposed to be completed that way. Trying to get them all is hunting for an extrinsic 100% that doesn't exist. And if you're looking for any kind of extrinsic value in these neutral endings, I have good news. The main antagonist makes fun of you for doing so. At the end of the game, Flowey will— oh yeah, spoilers for Undertale by the way, but you probably played the game so I don't need to say that. Flowey will take the human souls from Asgore, absorbing them and becoming Omega Flowey. After winning, the game boots you out and you can follow Flowey's final advice if you wish. If you don't follow his advice, instead getting repeat neutral endings, he'll give you new nuggets of info. Once you do it 5 times or more though, he'll say, "Don't you have anything better to do?" It's the game actively telling you you're wasting your time trying to fill in every little nook and cranny. Some of you might point out that Undertale does have achievements. This is true, so let's look at Undertale's achievement list. Undertale doesn't have achievements on Steam, but on PlayStation, every game needs a set of trophies. To meet this quota, Toby wrote some of these immaculate gems. Don't worry, I have ideas for trophies when you pick up a single item, like getting items for picking up 2 items, or getting more items for, you guessed it, 3 items. Help Me, I'm Out of Ideas is really my favorite, for 4 whole items picked up. The console ports, aside from Switch, feature some kind of money donation thing for the sole purpose of achievements. They are, objectively, wastes of time. The gameplay of this section is mashing through text boxes and reading a slightly funny line, but they're 100% optional, so if you want to complete this game on PS4, you need to mash through these. The Switch doesn't have achievements, so instead of the coin thing, Toby made a whole new boss fight. You can really tell which platform won here. Honestly, I love the Undertale achievements not because they're good, but because they're so purposefully bad they end up looping around and becoming funny. I don't think Toby wants you to platinum this game, I'm gonna be honest. If you have any doubt that these aren't satirical, then might I direct you to your final achievement. Don't You Have Anything Better to Do is the achievement for getting every other achievement. So your reward for doing every menial task Toby assigned you to do is a reminder that you wasted your time. It's honestly brilliant. If you want my takeaway on achievements, it's this. Don't force completion requirements into art. There are games that absolutely benefit from a large list of achievements. Pizza Tower comes to mind because of how well they're designed at pushing you to get better. However, that does not mean every game needs an achievement menu. Some people think that every game released on Steam or console should require achievements. And that just feels wrong to me. Whether we treat them as such or not, video games are art. They are creative works that deserve to be experienced as the creator intended, not forced through an arbitrary standard of completion. I am in no way saying that achievements are inherently bad. Please don't misconstrue that as the point of the video. I love collecting little things when they feel deserved, but itemizing an experience intended to be taken as a whole, well, depersonalizes it. So, developers of the world, you are allowed to do what you want with your game, and don't feel forced to add arbitrary goals for a shiny badge. Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, then why not hit like and subscribe? I just hit 3,000 subscribers and my goal is 10,000 this year. Your contribution to that goal would mean the world to me. This video is made possible because of my channel members on YouTube. My thanks goes out to ItsJoeYo, Sumness, DawnTheSylv, Purely Toaster, Thisnamesucks, Amazing PurpleGirl, and Nova. If you want your name in the credits of the video, then consider joining. I've been Luxy, and I'll see you around.